For me, grammar is the understanding that a future is not possible without a past. It's mathematics, homie. Math is not simply numbers. Math and grammar is the same thing as knowledge. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Grammar, logic, and rhetoric. It's all the same. So, a future is mathematically not possible without a past. Learn your numbers, you dig? Learn your mathematics. What up, big family? It's your dog, the Ultra Melanite, coming to you live from Charleston, South Carolina, aka the Holy City. And today we're going to do a quick little video on South Carolina history, the Black Indians of South Carolina, namely the Wassamassaw. My family is said to be a part of the Wassamassaw, and that's why I'm doing this video. This is something we've been taught since birth. It is common knowledge in my city that my family, the Varners, are in fact Wassamassaw, as are many other families in the area, such as the Mazeeks, the Frasers, and the Walkers, you dig? However, the Wassamassaw is not our original clan. They are actually the result of many other clans mixing together as a result of the Yamasee Wars of 1715. The main groups in the Wassamassaw are the Catawba, the Edisto, the Gwale, the Waccamaw, and my branch of the Kasubo, the Edisto, are the Utahs, as in Utahville, which was a part of the St. James Parish where my family is from, which is now part of the Low Country in South Carolina. The Yamasee War is one of the bloodiest wars in history that they don't teach you about, you dig me? So you need to go and read about it. Here's a link right here so you can go see a little bit about it. Prior to the war, the tribes tried to work with the colonists, which ended up costing them their freedom and their identity, you dig? They lost their voice by trying to work with invaders. I don't understand for the life of me why you would try to work with somebody who invaded you in the beginning. They would trick us on the boats and ship us to the Caribbean as slaves, then ship us back to the Americas, to the Carolinas, and say that we came from Africa, so we wouldn't have any rights to the land that we were originally from. You dig me? That's what you call real war, war of the mind. My people were further enslaved by an invading group of Iroquois called the Westos. The Westos invaded the Carolinas and sold us as slaves to the colonists in exchange for guns. Although they are said to be a different group from the Cherokee, they are very similar in origin, both being invaders from the Iroquois north. If you ask me, the Westos are the Cherokees, because if I didn't tell you that these people's name were the Westos and I just gave you the origin story, you would automatically tie them to the Cherokee because they are so similar. And since the Cherokee is a nation which wasn't formed until probably late 1700s or early 1800s at best, I would say that the Westos would be considered a Cherokee type of group. You dig me? The Iroquois with guns enslaved many of my people and sold them as field slaves. After enough of us southeastern Indians were subdued, the colonists then turned on the Iroquois to weaken them. The colonists gave us southeastern Indians guns to invade the invading Iroquois groups. You dig how smart these people been? The Yamasee, after helping to fight the Iroquois, decided to attack the colonists, starting the Yamasee War. My fam, the Etowah, joined the Yamasee, as well as many other southeastern groups. Remember, the Yamasee is a nation composed of many other South Carolina tribes, such as the Gwale and the Yuchi. The Yamasee grew in size as they absorbed more groups, but ultimately the Yamasee lost the war, and I'll tell you why. It's because they had been working with another group of invaders in order to fight the war, which was the Iroquois, the Cherokee. And the Cherokee ended up flipping sides on them again, joining backside with the colonists and enslaving the Yamasee, helping to end the war. Though a peace treaty was signed, the Yamasee never agreed to peace. They finally had the right idea, you dig me? Some of the defeated tribes, such as my people, the Etowah, joined together to create what we now know as the Wassamassaw. My people continued to be enslaved, while some experienced limited freedoms, especially the ones that can pass for white. Some of the mixed breed family members could pass for white, and this was even going on during the time when my mom was a child. She used to tell me stories about it. My great-great-great-grandmother, Rose Walker Varner, was sold into slavery at 4 years old by a guy named John Varner in 1826. She was an Etowah slave labeled as black from the St. James Parish. So y'all wrap y'all head around what I just said. My ancestor, at 4 years old, girl, was taken from her family. Who knows what happened to her parents? Sold as a slave to a man at 4 years old. What would a man do with a 4-year-old slave girl? Wrap your head around that. See why it is so personal for me. See why the paper genocide and why all of this heritage and nationality stuff is so personal to me. You dig me? I got no love for the invaders. Alright, I ain't gonna get sentimental. Let me keep going. Some of Rose Walker Varner's descendants ended up forming two different branches of the Wassamassaw. The Etowah tribe, which is mostly indigenous or black, and the Varnertown tribe of Wassamassaw, which is mostly mixed breed. Here's my problem. The Varnertown branch has both of its founders labeled as black on the census, but there are no black clan members of the Varnertown tribe of Wassamassaw Indians. How is it possible for most of the clan to be non-black when the progenitors were black? Y'all should be ashamed of yourself using paper genocide to gain recognition, you dig me? And here's proof right here from Ancestry. That's my family history of about 350 years. So yeah, I did come from a slave, but not from Africa. My people are more closely related to the Arawak and other southeastern Indian groups. The purpose of this video is to show that SC slaves were at least 85% American Indians, blacks, who were reclassified as colored, Negro, black for the purpose of continued enslavement, as it was improper at the time to enslave so-called Native Americans. The only reason it was improper at that time is because the European had already started mixing with some of these tribes, and they didn't want to enslave their own to a certain extent. Just study the wars of South Carolina and you'll see. Here's a list of the wars. Probably only 5 to 7% of South Carolina slaves were African. Probably another 5 to 10% were European. You dig me? Back then, it was common knowledge that the black were Indians. Back when I was young, it was common knowledge that the blacks were Indians. Seems like everybody we came across back then said, yeah, I mean, my grandmama's a Cherokee, my grandmama's a Choctaw, we this or we that. You dig me saying? And they wasn't lying, they been right. You dig? Seems like the younger group seem to be losing that understanding of who we are. And that's another purpose of this video, because like I said, without a past, there is no future. You dig? But before I ride out, here's a list of the tribes of the Yamasee and Wassamassaw. If any of y'all connect with any of these tribes, holler at your dog and share the knowledge, man. I'd like to learn about your people. Tell me your story. You dig me? Remember, in the village hidden by the sun, we use grammar to counter the dialectic so our children won't be blinded by the sun. All of y'all families welcome to join this village. You dig me? Peace out.